Hey, welcome back to the channel. So those of you who are indie writers, you may have already tried to make your own paperbacks through Amazon or some other service, maybe Lulu if you're old school. And that's assuming you wanted to avoid going through traditional publishing. So you probably are already familiar with how to do the process of making a paperback. You'll see here that I have actually done it myself with the Computer Nerd, which I've already talked about a couple times on this channel. You'll see that's nice and professional looking. Amazon, they do pretty good paperbacks, and you may be familiar with how all that works. What you may not know is that Amazon recently took their foray into hardcovers, and I know I was a little skeptical because I know Ingram Spark is like the go-to for all hardcover type books. That's where the professionals actually end up going. And of course, Ingram Spark, they make it easy for you to put books in bookstores because of all the return policies and whatnot. But Amazon, not to be left out of anything Amazon related, who needs to put their foot in every share of the pie, they started to recently do hardcovers. And so I was curious, and I thought, well, let me just check it out. Let's see if they're of any quality. So today, I put my order in about 3 weeks ago. Today it finally got here, and just one bit of note for you guys is if you do any indie publishing through Amazon, whether it's a paperback or any other type of printed material, just remember that if you get the author copy, not the sale copy, they will take their sweet time putting it together. Normally, you put in an order for a product and you get it within the next 2 or 3 days. With your own personal author copies, it's more like 3 weeks. Not because it can't get there quickly, it's just that they don't like to actually make the book until about 2.5 weeks later. It's true of the paperback, but it's also true of the hardcover. However, this isn't to say that the hardcover isn't worth getting, because I got my hardcover a little while ago in this little box here, which I've already opened, as you can see. It's not a little box, it's a thick box. I don't know if you can see that. But inside, after you take all the packing out, what you have is you've got something you have to dig out of the box. Da-da-da, you get a hardcover. And I gotta say, Amazon knocked this one out of the park. Look at this. What I like about this, I actually had to be very careful about how to set the cover, because the paperback cover and the hardcover, their formatting is going to be a little different, because the hardcover's got a deeper edge, so you have to basically redesign the paperback cover that you had. You'll have to redesign a little bit so that it sticks a little further out, but that also means you may have to do some shifting of the title. The thing to remember is this spine here is part of the equation. And so when I made my first copy of the book, I was trying to follow their guidelines, and there's like an area where it looks like you shouldn't actually put the front cover in there because of the bleed, but actually that's the area where the spine creases, and you definitely want to factor that in, because what happened originally is my original cover, which I did not print, but my title was too far to the right. It was too close to this edge, so it looked imbalanced. So if you decide to do a hardcover, you certainly want to make sure you're lining up based on what's actually going to be visible, not just what is within the actual center line. And I'll see if I can show you guys what I'm talking about at the end of the video. But as you can see, yeah, it came out pretty good. And then when you open the book, if I can do this without breaking it, you've got the pages look just like the paperback. So that's the thing, is you're getting essentially the same copy that the paperback comes with, but a harder cover. But there is no slip sleeve right now. I think they're supposed to make slip covers at some point. But right now it is literally just the canvas itself. There's nothing particularly modern about it, to say it lightly. I mean, this is the kind of book you're going to pick up in the 1950s. If it's anything like the hardcovers we have lying around the house here. But the print quality, I mean, I'm really, really impressed with how good this came out. So if you've been considering hardcover, designing hardcover, and you see that Amazon's now an option, I think it's okay to go with it. It's cheaper than Ingram, I think. You don't need your own ISBN. You can get the ASIN number if you're trying to save on ISBNs. Now, it's still going to be within the Amazon Marketplace only. That's the only thing. I don't think expanded distribution is ready yet. I think it's still only a paperback thing for expanded distribution. Sorry, this is me trying to talk after a long day at work. But if you even if you just go through Amazon, the it's about a $5 price difference on average between your paperback and the hardcover. Certainly, when you get your author copy, I think mine was $8 or $9 plus the shipping, so I pay like $13 to get my own personal copy. But whereas the customer, I think, will have to pay $16 or $17 for it. So it's still not a bad deal, even if you want to get like a box set of your own hardcovers to take to a conference or something. But I don't know. I thought it was worth showing you guys what a hardcover from Amazon looks like. Now, granted, I just ordered the one. I didn't order a box set. I can't comment on the consistency like I did when I got my paperbacks. I imagine it'll be the same issues. You probably will have a little bit of margin shifting depending on how much bulk you print. But as long as you remember that the guidelines they give you in the cover, if you stick too close to what they give you, you may actually accidentally shuffle your titles off too far to the right. So let's actually, before I wrap up, let's go ahead and take a look at my cover that I used for the hardcover and compare it to the template, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I already showed you the book, so hopefully you know what you're working with. But yeah, let's go take a look real quick at the cover. So we're looking at the original cover that I made after going through the guidelines, and you'll actually, if I click on this layer down here, you'll see this is the original template for the cover, and I think I need to go ahead and we'll just, for now, click all these out so you can see what I'm looking at here. That's what the cover looks like. Now, what I like to do is I like to make it transparent. So if I'm going to I want to slide this down to about 50. Same with this here. I'm using Affinity Photo, by the way, if you're wondering what this program is. I'm doing all this in. It's a normally $50 program, one time, just as good as Photoshop in my opinion. You'll notice that I'm keeping within the lines that they recommend here, but you'll notice that this is the important part here. See the blue line? Hopefully you can see that there. This is within their guides, and you'll notice that I was trying to be nice and keep my cover within this little margin here. And you'll notice that I also tried to center my title according to this. The problem is if you take out the actual images here, what you'll actually find is that this area is the spine, like the gutter of the spine. What you really need to avoid is being outside of this edge. And so when I actually put in my cover, sorry, you'll notice that I had all this room over here still, because this is where the spine's going to start, but this is the gutter area. And if you look at the difference between where it actually folds over here and where the gutter is, it's actually looks like all the text is pushed over to the right a little too much. So what I did is I went over to this file over here. This is my version 2. And you'll notice that the title is pushed over more toward the spine. And even though if I turn on the cover here, you'll see that it's lined up right against the blue line. The thing is the distance between the letter here and the edge of the book and the letter here and the edge of the spine is more equal. And if you remember what I showed you of the hardcover was actually pretty even on the front because I did this. So the whole reason I want to show you this is if you are going to make your own hardcover, do remember that this section here inside the blue line is still visible to the reader. It's not hidden, so you don't want your spine coming over this. You want your front cover, your back cover, all that to consider this is still part of the front face, and that everything out here is what's going to wrap around the book itself. So it's within the black line that's going to be visible to your reader, and the blue lines are also visible, okay, except anything outside of the edge here. So just bear that in mind if you do want to do a hardcover. It's very important that you remember that should be your format if you intend to stay centered. Now, also remember too that the hardcover has a much wider edge than the paperbacks do. So if you're using the same cover for your hardcover that you use for your paperback, you will need to make an adjustment to the title or anything that's centered, because as you can see here, my coffee cup got cut off, and it actually, if you remember the hardcover versus the paperback, you'll see that the paperback does show the liquid, whereas the hardcover does not. It's because of the way it wraps. It's just the only way I can get it to fit, and you may have the same problems. So if you're going to design your own paperbacks or your own hardcovers, try to make sure that you have versions that you can scale, so that you can retain as much as the original images in both versions as you can. Same for ebook. If you're doing an ebook, just remember that, you know, with the paperbacks and hardcovers, they will wrap, which means you got to also factor in where the bleed areas are. But anyway, it's not that difficult as long as you know what the end result is going to end up being. So you still want to use their guidelines, but just remember that you are not going to try to center within this white box. You're going to center between the black edge and the spine edge, because that's ultimately what the reader is going to see. So just thought I'd share that with you guys. And then one more thing before we go. In order to make your own hardcovers, you will go to Amazon's KDP dashboard, and there's a little button here for hardcover. It's still in beta. It's in beta because you can't get the jackets yet. They're still, I guess, testing those. So the only thing you're going to get right now is the cover, or the book itself, with the image embedded in the hard copy canvas. But once you make it, it's going to show up alongside all of your other editions here. So you'll see the Computer Nerd's got an ebook version, paperback version, and hardcover version, and you'll see that's priced accordingly. And then if you've ever made a paperback or an ebook, you should already know how this process will go. You're going to upload all the information they don't yet have. They're going to assign you an ASIN, and you're just going to go through and validate all of your copy. What I did for my interior is I used exactly the same interior I used for my paperback. I made no changes with that because it's the same dimensions. If you want a different dimension, like let's say I always make my books 5.5 by 8.5. I just think it's a good size for a novel. But if, let's say you want the let's say 5 by 8 paperback and a 6 by 9 hardcover, well, not only are you going to have to adjust the cover for the difference in the edge there, but you also have to adjust for size. But it's going to be the same thing with your interior copy, because you do not want 2-inch margins just by going from a 5-inch paperback to a 6-inch hardcover. It won't look good. So you are going to have to also update your interior to match your new size if you go to a higher size. I think it's a lot easier if you just keep the same size. That way the only thing you're fixing is the edges of your cover. And then it's just a matter of uploading all the files as you normally would for a paperback. But you're going to do it under your hardcover section, which is be over here. And then you can also order proofs like I did. Just remember, again, allow yourself at least 3 weeks. Whatever day you order it, unless you order it as a customer, not as the author, you're going to get it in 3 weeks, not 3 days. And that's just, you know, the way they fly there. And then same thing with shipping. I'm not sure how it works with Amazon Prime, but I know if you're a non-Prime member, you'll be paying for shipping no matter how many books you order. So it helps to know that going into it if you've never done this before. So, but anyway, I think it's a nice quality print. I think it's worth the money. I think it's even worth the wait. You know, if you're looking for a Christmas present for friends and family, assuming friends and family read your books, you still got time to put something together. It's right now. It's end of November. You put your paperback together or your hardcover together tonight. Upload it. Order your print copy. You'll get it in time for Christmas, hopefully. So just bear that in mind. But anyway, that's all I have for you right now. I just thought it'd be interesting to show you guys the Amazon's hardcovers. Not bad. And if that was ever anything you considered for your author shelf, I think it's a good one to consider. So print quality is pretty solid. It's just like the paperback. If you like the paperbacks, I think you'll like your hardcovers too. So you don't need to knock it unless you want to. I mean, it's Amazon. Maybe you feel like knocking Amazon, but you don't have to. It's good. It's good quality. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Writer's Bookshelf, new one will debut Friday, 1 o'clock. And then that's all I got planned for the rest of the year. I don't know. I'm sure I'll do another Atticus video at some point. Because I do have some features that they released last month that I wanted to share, but I kept having some difficulties with my microphone, so I didn't upload those videos. But There are some things in Atticus that I think are worth sharing. So I'll try to do at least one more Atticus video before January. But other than that, I don't have a lot planned for the rest of the year. So so do you come back for Friday for the last Writer's Bookshelf of the year, and then just check in. Keep the bell rung in case I got something for you. But other than that, go see who else is out there and enjoy other videos, or just enjoy the holidays, because we're coming up on them. So you don't have to spend all your life on YouTube. You can go out and and enjoy what's out there in the world. So anyway, that's it for today, and thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye.